Welcome to Sound of Hope News. I'm your host, Wei Fang.
And I'm Cathy Zhang.
You're San Francisco's Chinese American journalist. And so you may wonder, so what's that, the photos about? You see some like a Red Army soldier, and then you got like standard English and racism. What is it about? Okay, just watch our program. You will find out why we put that together. Okay. The second, some of our viewers said Wei didn't come last time because he ran out of joke.
Right.
Is that right?
Now there's a viewer say, is this Wei's joke episode?
You underestimated me. Okay. Wei have not run out of joke. I'm gonna double dose on this today. Okay. But you have to stay until the end of the program. The third is, today we're gonna answer very, very major questions. Some of you are very, very curious about. So what is the relationship between Wei and Cathy? Shall we review that? But you have to stay until the end of this program. Okay. The fourth question is, what is the new format of this program? Okay, we've been thinking about that, and I will let you know today. Okay, before we get to all those, let's talk about today's news. How about that?
All right. Yeah, so to tell you to help you to understand why we chose that main phrase for today's news. So let's go to what happened in the Rutgers University in New Jersey, and a lot of people know that this university is actually as one of the oldest universities in the United States. Has a long history. The 8th oldest college in the U.S. used to be called the Queens College. So what happened in Rutgers University was last June, the English department announced that they are doing a list of anti-racist directives and initiatives for the upcoming fall, which is now, and spring semester, including an effort to de-emphasize traditional grammar rules in English writing. So that email was written on June 19th of last year, which is the Juneteenth Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Juneteenth Day. And the department head, Rebecca Wakowitz, she wrote a long email, which you can find it, we only show you the beginning part of it, but it's a long email on their website. So basically the message is saying that they're gonna took serious initiatives to show that they stand solidarity with Black Lives Matter. So, for example, what's their purpose? The email just spelled out the ongoing and the future initiatives that the English department has planned as a way to stand with and respond to the Black Lives Matters movement, and also create and promote anti-racist environment in the university, in the class, in department, in the community, and also to contribute to the eradication of systemic inequity facing Black, Indigenous, and the people of color. So what's their plan? Just for example, they have lots of plans. For example, one of the initiatives is regarding their rules at the graduate writing program. They're going to incorporate critical grammar into their pedagogy. That's one of their efforts. So what does that mean? So the department head said that this approach challenges the familiar dogma that writing instruction should limit emphasis on grammar, sentence level issues, so as to not to put students from multilingual, non-standard academic English background at disadvantage. So it's very literal, right? So what is really students from multilingual? So, students like Wei and Cathy are from was not born in the United States. We are immigrants, right? So, and also non-standard academic English backgrounds. basically it refers to the students who are Black Americans, African Americans. They have their particular usage of some phrases or words in their English expression. So they said instead it will encourage students to develop a critical awareness of a variety of choices available to them with regards to micro level issues in order to empower them and equip them to push against the biases based on written accent. What is written accent? Basically, it's, you are not someone who cannot basically have like a grammar errors in their writing, right?
Yeah, written accent.
Accent.
Try to understand it. That means that it's very literal, right? It's very literal. I'm sorry, not literal. Very literate. Okay, very standard, very good.
Have
English.
some like errors in the grammar.
No, I don't.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay.
That's not it. Yeah.
Well, it's just up to people's understanding. I think that's another aspect of such expression.
Right, and so the language is really just fuzzy, right? As I said, let me read this to you. It says, it encourages students. Did you read this?
Yeah.
Okay. Develop a critical awareness of a variety of choice available to them with regard to micro level issues. What does that mean? What is the micro level issues? Anyway, in plain language, it says that in order to be sensitive to those minority and actually us included, those minority, and don't make them feel bad, and grammar is not important.
And make it easier for them to pass the courses, right?
Yeah, just lose the standard. Problematic English doesn't matter, okay? And as long as they will be sensitive to their feeling, then that's good enough. So then 2 years ago, November 1st, okay, in the Evergreen State College of Olympia, Washington, and the college issued some notice about the tutors, okay? Students have tutors, right? And the notice said that tutors are there to provide culturally sensitive feedback on writing, though not to correct grammar. Okay, the tutor's job is not to correct their grammar.
Right.
It is to provide culturally sensitive feedback. So there's another thing happened over there. I think you got the third case, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so actually also last year in July, the Conference on College Composition and Communication announced on its website. So what did they announce? Basically, they announced that they actually demand American teachers should stop using academic language and the standard English because it reflects white mainstream English. Okay, so the language, the grammar could also be a white supremacist. Also, a reflection of a white supremacist. And it demands teachers to stop teaching Black students to code switch and teach Black students about anti-Black linguistic racism and the white linguistic supremacy instead. You can read that on the screen, right? So, it basically, they have to teach like Black English in college class. It's saying Black depositions in the research and the teaching of Black language. So, what does that mean?
Yeah, I really want to learn from you. When you read such news, what do you think? What's your feeling about that? And then I'll share with you why Cathy and I picked this topic to share with you. And there's a pretty I just want to know. Okay, I just want to know that how you feel about this. It looks a little strange, right? But it's not. It's way beyond strange. It's way beyond being strange. Okay, let me tell you a story. In China, this is in 1960. How to say? 1973. Okay, so you have probably all heard about this so-called Cultural Revolution that happened between 1966 to 1976. All right, so Cultural Revolution is an extreme campaign that happened during the at that time. Basically, there's the rhetoric is Chinese traditional culture has become the barrier to the people's accepting the communist revolution. So they shall be done away with. This is one thing. Another thing is a lot of knowledge or whatever and science, they if they deviated from the communist cultural revolution, okay, so they need to be pushed aside. What is most important is this communist revolution, okay? That is the definition of the political correctness in those years. Okay, so in 1967, they stopped the so-called college entrance examination. Okay, high school students, you graduated, you want to go to college? Sorry, no. there's no chance. There's no route. There's no opportunity for you to go to any college. All the young people who graduated from high school, they shall go to the countryside and to participate to accept the re-education of the farmers, because farmers, they are the most politically correct people. Anyway, so in 1970, okay, because 3 years you got no college students, you got no college graduate either, so that still got the government somewhat concerned. So in the 1970s, they started to say, how about this? Let's recover this college thing. And how do we do it? Because we did away with the college entrance examination, right? So how do we pick those students who can go to college? Then they come up with their own standard. Basically, if the people or the mass, the people recommend it, and your leader approve it, and the college review it, then you can get to the college.
Yeah, and that's what Mao Zedong, Chairman Mao at that time, he under his direction, he just announced education needs revolution, and proletarian politics must take demand.
Yeah. So who got recommended and got approved by the leader is those people who are the most passionate or enthusiastic or proactive, in this
politically correct.
Yeah, in this revolution, right? That's called the political correctness. And then there's this gentleman. His name is called Zhang Tiesheng. Maybe you can show a photo of this guy. This guy is a young man, right? He was living in the city. He was sent to the countryside. He became the leader of they call it the production team, one of the production team in that rural area. And then, so he got recommended. All those people think he's one of the, very, very revolutionary type of young man, and then recommend he go to college, okay? But there's some light examination, all right? And he missed the date for whatever reason. He remembered wrong. He missed the date. When he got to the examining place, he got those, examining paper, and then he found he couldn't answer them. He doesn't know how to answer them. He did not have time to prepare for it. There's some light examination, not the full one, okay? So he turned his paper to the back. Instead of answering the question to the physics and the chemistry, those questions, he wrote an essay there. He said, I came from the countryside. I work day and night. I work 18 hours a day. And I was busy, with this called revolutionary production. I really have no time for this. And then now those people, they spend time preparing for the examination. They were just how to say this in English.
The only goal for them is just to try to go to college. But for myself, he said, my political stance, my family, and the social relationship are all very clean.
Yeah,
and
very pure.
Very pure. And I just spend all my time just to do engage in the revolution. And why our college should just be occupied by all those people who just want to enter college.
Yeah.
Why not me? That's basically.
And on that piece of writing, the title he wrote, put it this: for whom is our college gate open to? Okay, so anyway, he wrote that thing, and on that very examination, which is physics and chemistry, he scored a 6 out of 100.
Right.
Think about
almost
right?
a 0.
Normally, like a 60 is a passing score. He got a 6 out of 100. It's almost 0. But this piece of writing, this essay, informal essay, caught the attention of the party leaders, who then handpicked him out and sent him to college. And then they put this essay on this People's Daily, the party's newspaper that everybody had to read at that time. And then, he became a model. He's a revolutionary guy. He's the most politically correct person, young man.
Right.
So not only he got to go to college, but he also got promoted to serve as a party, party official, and then go to Beijing and become a national figure. All right. So people like him. People like him from the countryside with no knowledge, with no preparation, with no qualification, because they are politically correct. They got admitted to the college, and then they become the leaders and the privileged people in China. So this guy's name is Zhang Tiesheng. Of course, with the Cultural Revolution continue on that way, college cannot find qualified students. They just admit people like him. Actually, this guy's not a bad guy. He's a very later on. Now he's a millionaire. Okay, this is another story.
Billionaire.
Yeah, billionaire. He was then after this Cultural Revolution fell apart. Mao, just lost his grace. Then he was thrown into the jail.
Right.
As one of the quad, the leaders who fight with Deng Xiaoping.
Yeah, basically, from my understanding, he becomes the scapegoat of the power struggle, because at that time Deng Xiaoping, it was Deng Xiaoping that he just wanted to have some examination for the college entrance, but the Mao Zedong's party doesn't want that. So basically, it's a clash. It's a power struggle among within the party. But then Deng Xiaoping took power after Mao died. So Zhang Tiesheng, this guy, became a scapegoat.
Yeah. So this 10-year, Cultural Revolution lasted, right, for 10 years, where you have no qualified students into college. Then consequently, you have no college graduate. The entire economy of the China went to the brink of the collapse. Everything fell apart because they have only one thing to live for: political correctness. In another sense, is their safety. If they are not politically correct, they could face danger. I told you this joke about this poor old guy carry this skull. Plaster in sculpture of Chairman Mao, and it fell to the ground. Everybody kneel there. It's easy to kneel. It's hard to get up. They just couldn't get up because it's politically incorrect. So it's just a very ridiculous situation, which is not rare in China. So as people pursue political correctness, they lost common sense. When they lost common sense, the whole society will be in disarray. This is what happened to the Cultural Revolution. We always thought that's just a China story. Okay, that's another one is the Soviet Union story. We never thought it could be an American story. But in this particular case, right, in this Rutgers University English department, it just making sure in order to stay in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter, and then you don't have to speak good English. And we don't need to correct them because we want to take care of their feeling. It's in the same lines. Guys, this is in the same line. Communists have the same gene. They come from the same place. They take different route. They're essentially the same kind of thing. Once we see something like this, we know it was played out in China, in Soviet Union, and in North Korea, and in Vietnam, and so on and so forth. It's just something so familiar. In a certain sense, the mankind tried this last century. We got a full dose of lessons. Americans don't know them. Americans don't know those lessons. So we have to learn this again, go through this whole thing again.
And I think one consequence of such action is because that's the hard left or the communism, how they do things, right? They, in the name of creating equity, right? Creating equity. But what they do is actually they just destroy the standard. There's no clear standard, right? The fuzzy policies. But one thing is it could just, I think there are two consequences at least. One is to make people do self-censorship because, you are afraid, maybe I'm offending someone, right? Or, if as a teacher, if I just keep teaching those standard grammar, and it will be I will become a racist, right? So it will make people to do self-censorship. On the other hand, such standard became very vague, very fuzzy, and you don't know. Then the government or the hard leftist, they can just easily control people using such fuzzy, vague policies or standard. So it's a way for the hard leftist to control people, actually.
Yeah, Luis Fernandez, you said, Wei and Cathy, do you believe enough people are awake in China to make a critical change against the CCP? Actually, that's actually my answer. I have good news for you, okay? And contrary to most Westerners thought that CCP has a tight grip of China and they're unshaken, they're gonna last for a good while. That's not quite the case. All right, that's enough people. That's more than enough people who are awake in China. And I don't know whether you heard about this. This is called a Quit CCP campaign, right? It's a very silent, peaceful, almost undetected, detectable movement is happening in China, where people they just they just in the email they write a piece of a very very short statement and saying that I hereby disavow CCP and I declare I want to quit CCP. They don't have to sign their real name because it's dangerous, but they sign with a fake name. They just pick a name for themselves. They send it to a Quit CCP. Can you check how many people are doing that? Has done that in America? A Quit CCP center in America, and so why this is meaningful, right? They do not even sign with their real name, because the choice of the conscious in their mind they made that choice. And CCP is really just ideology. Communism is really, really nothing more than ideology. Okay, if the people all disavow them and just break from them in their mind, it'll fall apart, really quickly. So as of now,
over 374 million people who denounced the CCP or its affiliated organization.
Yeah, for some Westerners, they may question, really? You think there are so many people? Yes, under every single number, there's a real person there. Nearly 400 million people, okay? You're talking about 400 million people. In China, there's only just 1 billion adult. Okay, we forget about the kids, okay? Young kids. So out of 1 billion, you got 400 million people who already, just say goodbyes, to CCP in their mind, consciously. In their conscious, they say that. So CCP, they could fall in the very near future and earlier than people thought. This is just what happened, like what happened to the Soviet Union, where we think that, Soviet Union is going to last for a good while, in 1 or 2 decades at least, they just, dissolved just like that, in the December of the 1991. So yes, so CCP will not last in China because Chinese people had enough of them, and then they are awakened. And so in terms of America, okay, why would you want to tell this story? Because everything we experience here, those ridiculous things, those things happen at the Evergreen College, Rutgers University, it's just nothing new. We smell it. We know what it is. So the thing is, this is what I believe. Okay, I think American people needs to know that those are the traits, those are the genes of the communism. You recognize that it's nothing new. It's nothing fancy. We need to know that. We need to let our kids know about that. We need to create a media to talk about that. It's just a replay of the bankrupt communism in this country again. Okay, so we need to expose them. So now it comes to the format of this program. To be honest, guys, I'm a person who believes in God. Okay, so why God put American people through this? Okay, I just want to share my understanding. Okay, it's because American people needs to wake up and understand what is right, what is wrong, what is communism, and what is communism. Yes, this evil exists in our society in hidden format for over 100 years. It grew very strong in the last 50 years. Okay, American people, we have a peaceful life, we have a prosperity, everything is good. We're born and we got everything. We got a house, we got cars, we got good education. We don't even know that the people in other part of the world, they don't have it. Okay, so we I intentionally would grow content. We're not aware of the danger, and I think the current what happened today is to help American people understand what is the evil, what is the communism, and once we recognize that, once most Americans recognize that, the task that God put in place will be over. I think America will regain their country back. That's how I see it.
Yeah, and also I think it's just, really reminds us freedom is not free, and the communism or the leftist or socialist, whatever you call it, they have never stopped trying to get control all over the world, get control of the people. So, like our Chinese audience also saying, oh, how come, America just not as great as they thought? I don't agree with that. It is because the evilness of the communism, and also people really just don't realize they have been just working on infiltrating our country, try to infiltrating our freedom. So if we don't realize it, don't fight for it, then we risk losing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that we've been reporting to you news every day, right? What happened during the day? We'll give you the photos of the news as we see it, as we collect them. Now we thought it over. Okay, we want to have a slight change of the format of the program. For Wei, I plan to I want to try this with you guys and see whether you like it. Okay, I want to create a series of program around the origin and this evolvement and then development of the communism in this world. Those stories, not dry stuff. Okay, stories. Hopefully, I can make it fun and good to fun to listen to. What happened in China? Story like this. I want to just make that a serious program, so that you can whether you would like it, because once we know this, I think this series can be evergreen. I mean, what I mean is that can be replayed elsewhere. That's what I plan to do. And for Cathy, what would you like to focus on?
Okay, yeah, what I would like to focus on is probably on one hand is still try to follow the news, but probably focus on the news that we can really dive deep into it to find out something behind it, which really can reveal to us what the hard left or the communism is behind it. And the other thing is to do more like some in-depth interviews. I know especially last interview regarding the border crisis, a lot of our audience really liked it. So yeah, I appreciate your feedbacks, and we'll try to do more about those, some in-depth analysis and comments.
Yeah, and so the E.T. Feng Hong, you wrote this. There's dilemma here. BLM is a really good belief of equal rights for all, but it has been hijacked by the CCP, and few can tell the difference. What do you think? What do you guys think? Yes, I do agree with you. Yes.
Well, I think the BLM, the Black Lives Matter, the founders actually are Marxism.
Yeah.
Marxists.
If we just take this word literally, right? Black Lives Matter. I agree. Of course, Black Lives Matters. Black Lives Matter. White lives matters too. Asian lives matter.
All life matters.
All life matters. Okay. If they just pick one race and push that extreme in the name of defending and protecting the rights of that race, you discriminate against all other races. That's the consequence. Okay, that's wrong to do. They pick something seems to have a moral high ground and then push that to the extreme. That's the problem. That's the typical maneuver of the communist. Okay, communists do not come forth and say, "I'm evil. I want to do evil. Everybody follow me, and everybody kowtow to me, to me, who is the evil." No, they come out as something righteous. Black Lives Matter. Okay, respect, transgender kid, and then protect the weak, and government should take care of the poor. All good slogans, But in the name of doing that, they destroy the current order and the current value. Because when you take something, go to the extreme, you destroy the current, all the values, right? Of course, Black lives matter. All lives matter. But why do you pick that thing? And when you pick that thing, you created, de facto discrimination against all other races.
And another thing I think is it's the very typical communism tactic is to divide and conquer. That's what happened in China, when the Chinese Communist Party, namely liberate the Chinese people. They pick one group who are the people who have lands, right? The landlords or the capitalists. And saying they are just exploiting the other common people, so the farmers, so that they have to go down with. Mm-hmm. But what they do actually is just to really create division. Mm-hmm. They create division among the people so that they become the leader. So, and like Wei said, they try to just create something like they have a higher moral grounds. But the truth is they create division among people, so make people to fight with each other so that they can gain the power. So that's the way for the Communist Party to control people and to gain power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's that. I think Cathy will be providing more in-depth interview about the topic that she think would shed light on how to understand the issue in this country, and the Wei will be doing a history series to show you what is the path of the communism, how they walk through that, how is that related to today.
Yeah, and we will share with you how the CCP infiltrates our country. We have been trying to do that little by little, but we just would concentrate more on those topics, right?
Right. Yeah. And also, just another thing to review with you. And so people are asking, so Wei and Cathy, are you a couple?
Yeah, we've got quite a few questions like this every now and then, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now let's announce the answer to the puzzle. Yes, we're husband and wife. Okay, and good to have you. That's why Wei always cut off Cathy, and Cathy doesn't get mad, and I got criticized a lot by some of you. Thank you. That's a good reminder. Okay.
Yeah, we've just based on our life experience from. In China, and after we immigrate to this great country, we really feel that we, have the duty, have the mission probably to share what we know with our friends here, and hopefully we can share with more our American fellow friends.
Oh, Judy Marshall said, you both are college friend, Iowa City.
Right. I remember Judy. Judy's from Iowa.
Yeah, we're from Iowa City, yes. We were college, we know each other in college in Shanghai. Then we came to the graduate school in Iowa City, University of Iowa. That's where we were from. And great to have you guys. Okay, now the joke of the day. And you think I ran out of joke. You really underestimated me. Okay, let me tell you two. Okay, first, as we all know, that in communist nation, all right, there's this saying that all people are equal there, right? Mm-hmm. In America, we say opportunity equal, not a result, but over there, the result is equal. All people are equal, but some people are more equal than other people. Okay, you remember that, and I just want to explain that a little bit. There's this guy, Stalin, right? Vladimir Stalin. Stalin had got a grandma. The grandma lived in the countryside, all right? So when the communism was sweeping through the Russia back then in the 1910s, okay, at that time, they just took over all the land and suppressed the so-called counter-revolutionary people. They killed the landowner and so on and so forth, and established this is called 集体农庄. What's that called? Like a collective farm, things like that. So that really startled a lot of people. Okay, anyway, Stalin was in Moscow and is directing this entire campaign. He has no time to take care of his grandma. But some year later, 2 or 3 years later, when all things settled down, he just sent for his mom, get his mom into the Kremlin, right? The Kremlin. And then Stalin was really, proud of himself. He showed his palace, his furniture, and his wine, and his piano, and so on and so forth. The grandma was really, really, surprised. And he was very curious, checking things around, touch here, touch there. And then finally the grandma suddenly become worried. He said, grandson, this all sounds very good. He said, this all sounds very good. But what if someday communists came over? All right.
Oh, yeah, the
Is that funny?
Grandma
I
just
hope so.
didn't know.
And then, so that's that's the communist country's situation, right? Everybody's equal. Some people are more equal than other people. And then, in the bus, in China, there's in Soviet Union, okay, the bus is always very crowded because people didn't have cars. And then, so everybody's crowded there. There's a lot of story happening on the bus. So someday, there's this guy was on a bus, and he was talking to somebody else near him. He said, "Sir, do you work at KGB? KGB?
Mm-hmm.
The security,
national security.
Security, yeah. Do you work for KGB?" He said, "No, I don't work at the KGB." Okay. Do you have a relative who work at the KGB? No, I don't. Do you have a friend work at the KGB? What do you mean? No. Do you have friend work at the KGB? I said, no. All right. Can you take your foot away from my foot? You're stepping on it. You are stepping on me. I'm very painful.
Yeah. So people just so afraid, right?
Yeah, they're just so scared. Okay. Anyway, that's the. Okay, hopefully this joke was surfaced to show you that I have not run out of a joke.
Right. Okay. So I saw some questions. Curtis saying exchange students never went back, just wondering. So probably asking about us, right?
Yeah. Why don't we return? Return because of,
we are not actually, to be like accurate. We're not exchange students, just students, right? But just never went back.
We call it overseas students. Yeah, we will stay here because we love the country, we love the freedom, and initially it's for the good life here. Okay, then later we really came to appreciate the freedom of this country. Then I did media. I came to know the Constitution. I study it, and I developed a strong, really strong passion towards the Constitution. And I figured out the formula of the secret formula of this nation, which I'm developing another video series, which is called the U.S. Constitution and the Founding Values. Okay, I understand that in that 1 year in Philadelphia, in the May 25th through September 17th of 1987, in that one summer, 55 gentlemen devised something, produced something, and then 4 years later, the country took a turn. Okay, the country embarked on the path of prosperity, non-stop until today. So the country is great for a reason. It's not accidental. It is not just fortunate. It's just that's a reason, and we need to uncover that secret formula, representing that to my Chinese American fellows, and to you guys, to my fellow Americans, and that we view that as our mission, and we will carry on that job, and that's our story.
Yeah, maybe one day we can have an episode to share with you about why we, in more detail, like why we become journalists. Actually, we were not trained in journalism, but maybe today it's already like 40 minutes.
Yeah, thank you for staying with us. Really appreciate it, and I hope you can keep staying with us, and until we call it what? until we rectify the situation. Yeah, that's sometimes I use that word. Rectify the situation. It's our duty. We have to do our job, and God is watching, and everything's in God's hand. And we'll gain our union back. We'll get our country back. All right. Thank you.
So it's really a pleasure to have you all with us, and really appreciate that. So take care. We'll see you.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night.